going on, guys? Welcome to episode number 14 here on Inspired Stories for the month of April. This month I'm back highlighting another producer, and this is someone that I have been a fan of now for probably 12 years now. Producer Boi-1da from Toronto, Canada. Obviously came up with Drake, made Best I Ever Had, which was like Drake's first big radio hit. Worked on a lot of his early mixtapes and has still worked with him today, so that's kind of where a lot of people know him from. It's funny because when I started listening to Drake, like 2008, 2009, when a lot of other people like discovered him when he became big, signed to Young Money and everything, I didn't know anything about producing at the time, so I was hearing all these records and listening to a lot of Boi-1da stuff, and I didn't even know it. 2010, Boi-1da makes the single for Eminem's Recovery called Not Afraid, which is one of the biggest records Eminem has ever had. I think it's one of the only songs of his that is a diamond record, and that's a Boi-1da beat. So like I was listening to that in like middle school, had no idea who it was. And then obviously Boi-1da has worked with so many other people since then. Travis Scott, Kanye West, God, I can't even, there's just so many different people he's worked with. And it's crazy to think of his evolution too, because he went from kind of just making radio hits here and there, like with DJ Khaled. He did some of the big songs from Khaled's like We the Best album and Suffering from Success and things like that. No New Friends. God, what was the other one? There was a big one. There was another one before that. There was a huge song. He produced for Rick Ross a lot of different songs for Maybach Music, Self-Made, Volume 1 and 2. Well, Volume 2, I don't know if he was on 1, but he was on 2 and 3 for sure. Produced for Rocky Fresh, which is one of my favorite artists, on a couple of the mixtapes when he signed to Maybach Music. It's crazy because he's just, like I said, he's evolved a lot too, because he went from doing just like singles that were big radio hits to now some deeper album cuts. And just seeing that he has been around for this long is quite remarkable. And I definitely would say that he has inspired me in a lot of ways. Obviously, a lot of people know him for his signature snares and hi-hats, just the crispiness of them. Like the Not Afraid snare, that's like a classic signature snare of his. Even the song Forever, which came out in 2009, which had Drake, Kanye, Eminem, and Lil Wayne. That was for the More Than a Game soundtrack for the LeBron James movie. That was a Boi-1da beat, and that was like the biggest rap song of the year. And I had no idea when I was listening to it that that's who that was until later on, and when I dug into, who these producers were and everything. And Boi-1da's name just kept coming up around the biggest songs of the late 2000s into the early 2010s. So I've definitely always like followed him and his work. Definitely want to see him do maybe an album one day. I think he had talked about it before, maybe doing like a compilation with all the different artists that he's worked with, or some of the different artists that he's worked with. Like I said, he's continued success. He's been on pretty much all of Drake's albums that have all gone #1. So he's continued his relationship with him, and it's great to see the whole team of OVO kind of just how they've elevated over the years and become some of the biggest, music makers in the world. And that's a testament to Drake too, because he has always stuck with the same team of people. Oliver, Noah, like all those people that have been with him since, he started out, and Boi-1da's no exception. So, like I said, I think that, he's somewhat slept on. Like, he doesn't get talked about a lot outside of the real core producer community. I don't know if a lot of people know about him. He doesn't really self-release music, but like I said, I'd like to see that happen eventually for him, because I think he deserves more recognition. But yeah, Boi-1da, man, incredible producer. like I said, I can't even think of off the top of all his different credits because there's just too many. But I know that like Spotify and I think Apple Music has his playlist of what he's worked on, some of the more prominent songs that he's been a part of. So I would encourage you to go check that out, and just see for yourself and hear for yourself what he has contributed to hip hop and really just the producer world in general, as someone who's a real pioneer of doing what we do nowadays, like the internet producer coming up from nothing and pretty much just making a name for himself. So hats off to Boi-1da. Like I said, go check out his music, and we'll be back in the month of May with another artist. As always, I appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you next time.